this is our very first panel, so find us if we are a little rusty at this, but I'm just going to go ahead and start introducing ourselves. I'm Salohcin. I started YouTube roughly about a year ago, shortly before, year one of ACFI, so this was actually my first convention, and now this is now my 5th convention coming here at this time. I've been doing YouTube basically just, short skits or just fun topic videos and things like that. But I'm roughly like around a little over 1,000 subscribers, so I'm still growing, a little small. But there's some of us here that have a much bigger following. But it's not all about that. We won't get into that.
Hi guys, I'm Renni. Nice to meet you. I started my channel in December, right after I got my suit, and I've just been having a lot of fun ever since. It's just great to be creative and express yourself online and to make a fool of yourself sometimes, which is what I do a lot. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about just everything about YouTube. So hope you enjoy your panel. Okay.
Hello? Everybody hear me? I'll try. Hello? Is it good? I can't really hear. Okay. So my name's Timus and I also have YouTube. I've been doing YouTube for about a year now, and it started off just me talking about how you should really walk around cons and act on cons, and it really evolved into like con videos. So now I make con videos, and now I delve into other topics like how we interact outside the fandom with people who are interested in our fandom. And recently, it's gotten to the point where like I now live stream, so it's pretty good. I love live streaming, and I think we're going to talk about this live streaming, and it's pretty good. I'm a little close around 3,400 subscribers, and honestly, we're going to talk about it. So yeah.
I'm Arrow, and I've been doing YouTube since 2008, free YouTube since, must be 2016, I think. And most of my videos, it's mostly just random stuff. Con videos, a challenge here or two. In fact, we kind of have one a little bit later actually. And now we're talking about videos. A question, would anybody mind being in a con video? Like, I'm going to do like an intro right here. All I need from, I don't know, I'm just going to introduce the video. But that's okay. Oh, that's right, voice recording. Voice up. GoPro, start recording. Hello,
Gotta get that content.
Hey guys, Arrow here, ACFI 2018. Say hello, guys.
Woo! Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
GoPro, stop recording.
Alright.
That was me. Sorry.
So with all that, we'll move on to our first slide and topic is starting your channel. So when you're first starting out your channel, what you want to do is, really develop a character or a persona of yourself, something that people are going to be able to relate to and understand who you are. Also, creating a title for your channel, usually one that has a very unique twist to it. So if you just make like, furry gamer, right? It's kind of very generic, but if you make something that's like very unique, it stands out, people are going to remember your channel more and be more likely to come back. So starting your channel is basically, thinking of how you're going to brand yourself and your channel and your content, so that way people can remember you.
And the most important thing to remember is you do not have to have a person to be a furry YouTuber or a YouTuber in general, of course. But created have fun. That's when you start your channel.
Yes.
Like when you start out your channel, you're not really gonna know what you want to do content-wise, and so eventually something will click, and that will be like it will be what your channel will identify with eventually. But there's so much you can do in your channel. You can live stream, you can do let's plays, you can do con videos. There's just so much you can do for a YouTube channel.
So the biggest thing is don't be afraid of starting out small. Some people, they try to get into this thinking it's instant fame, stuff like that. It'll take some time. Don't be afraid to take the little steps as it goes. You, like you said, you can go anywhere you want with it. You can do games, you can do challenges, videos, con videos. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So, you know, it's imagination, sky's the limit.
So yeah, adding on to that, you also want to, once you kind of develop your channel, you're going to want to dive into, you know, what type of content you want to do. So I stuttered there. But basically, you're allowed to, you know, experiment and do what you want, like SkyArrow said. But like probably once you've like been doing it for a long time, you're gonna find that like one niche that you like to do. So for all of us, kind of like our centers, you know, doing, you know, furry related content for people to watch. But I know as for myself, I kind of expanded to many different things. Like I do some game streams here and there, chill streams, you know, skit videos, advice videos, and just I go all over the place. But my net center is just, you know, relating around the fandom, and not necessarily, you don't have to be, you know, doing furry YouTube. You can do whatever you want. But you're gonna find that like one center, and just make sure you stay near that center. Because if you radically change your channel to something else, you're most likely going to damage it. I mean, that's like if you went from like being kind of centered around gaming, and if you like switched to, you know, like beauty and makeup or something like that. Like if you did a big switch like that, of course your viewers are going to like disappear. But I would just say kind of like find that like one niche that you really, really enjoy, and kind of like just revolve around that. That way you kind of hang on to your audience, they know what kind of content to expect from you.
Yeah, just keep your audience in mind for me. And also just have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, concerning live streams, it can change. Typically, I do gaming live streams sometimes. I do just regular fursuit live streaming. Sometimes I live stream at cons, in or out of suit. It really just depends. Like, you don't have to have like a set type of content that you have to do. I mean, it can change. You can improvise on what you want to do for your videos and your live streams.
Basically, you can be a little unexpected, but don't go too, you know, out there. Like what he said, you're going one route and then go like way the heck over here. You know, I mean, you can change it up. So people love variety, so that's definitely a route one can go. And I mean, I don't stick to the same thing all the time, but you know.
So equipment. Timus, you want to take that one?
Oh, equipment, yes. So I started out YouTube just using an iPhone 4, and honestly, it's not that bad. I had a camcorder before, but it only filmed in 480p, and the quality's not that great on that camcorder. But we had, you know, making videos shouldn't be about like having the best equipment. It could be a goal you could make to make videos that look more professional, but at the end, in the end, it's just honestly you in person or not in person, just talking about the fandom, or just sharing your interests, or just, you know, live streaming or playing games and talking with your audience. So you don't necessarily need a DSLR like those professional cameras to make videos, even though I myself have one. But that's because I've been using a phone to make videos for the past year, and I wanted to move on to something more professional, with a higher end quality to it. But like I said, you don't need the best equipment because it's all about substance. Does your video have substance? Does it have character? Can you look at that video and say it has longevity? You can go back and watch that video again and like it and share it, and it feels something to people, and that's really what's important. It's not necessarily the equipment. So you can film, with an iPhone, you'll be fine.
iPhone, or in my case, GoPros. I've always ever filmed videos in GoPros. Every single one of them is one of my GoPros that I have. So, I mean, you don't need to go out there and spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on these high-end cameras. I mean, you're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. So, I mean, here, keep it simple is the biggest rule of thumb. So, I mean, the basic thing is you want them to be able to see you, at least clearly, and you want them to be able to hear you. Those two things covered, you're pretty good.
Yeah. As the old saying goes, the camera does not make the photographer. And at the end of the day, your audience is watching you for you. They're not watching you for the quality of the video necessarily, but they're watching you for you. Yeah.
Although one thing I would like to add to that is if you are going to get equipment, get a good microphone, because that's like the #1 thing that you really need. Because if you have somewhat like bad quality, video, people can work around that. But if you're wearing headphones and you're watching something with that sounds like the Rice Krispie cereal, it's not going to be, it's going to be a big turn away because people are not going to want to sit there and listen to, crackly sound the entire time. So I would say, yeah. I would say your first investment, if you do decide to invest in better equipment, would be a better microphone. Something like probably like the Blue Yetis are good.
Rode.
Or Rode as well. That's what I use on my camera up there as a shotgun mic.
I legit found a $30 Samsung Go mic. It has really great quality, and you can take it anywhere with you. You can hook it up to your laptop. It's the most convenient mic, and it's really cheap. There's a lot of budget-friendly mics out there that have great quality. So, yeah.
Make sure you do your research. Yep.
Okay, this one ready?
Editing software. Okay. So, you do not have to have, like as we were saying with the cameras and others, you do not have to have the best editing software out there on the market. You can just use standard video editing software that comes with the computer. For instance, on a Mac, we come with iMovie, you can use iMovie. On Windows, you can use Windows Movie Maker. And there's also some more affordable options. I myself, I use Final Cut Pro 10. That's because that's just what I like. It's pretty expensive. It's $300, but that's what I'm used to. So yes, you don't have to have the best editing software. If you want to do green screen, you will have to get a little better software. But I mean, for instance, iMovie comes with green screen software already built into the program, the app. So it just depends on what you want to do with your content, more or less. If you just want to take simple videos, you can just stick with the standard stuff. But if you want to get all pretty and you want to have animations everywhere and green screen, you have to spend a few more bucks to get the good stuff.
The editing software I use currently is called Filmora. There's a free version if you want to get that. It's just how it's spelled exactly how it sounds. Film and then Mora, O-R-A. And they do offer like a $60 like lifetime membership. You'll get all the upgrades, and it's a really great, very easy to learn software. That's what I've been using. But also I've been kind of transitioning to another editing software called Sony Vegas Pro. It's a very expensive software, but I was able to find it on a good deal. It might show up again, and where I got it was humblebundle.com. I was able to get it for $20 when the software costs $350 on average. So looking out for like certain deals, just make sure you don't get scammed. I thought it was scammed at price, but apparently Humble Bundle does a lot of software releases from things like that. But there's plenty of other editing softwares out there that you can find for a relatively cheap price, between like the $20 $1,000 range that can do green screen feature, standard transitions, and even some that come with like built-in animations or things like that.
So for the past 10 years, because I've had other YouTube channels before my current one, is Camtasia. And Camtasia is a very basic, very simple editing software to use. And you can actually use a screen capture, which allows you to record desktop audio and your microphone. It's very convenient and it's really great for making very simple videos. Now, it doesn't have the same effects as Sony Vegas Pro or After Effects, but if you're just making very simple videos and just adding text, I think it's one of the best programs you can use. And it's easy to learn and it's easy to use. And it's relatively cheap online, like $100 and you can get a great deal.
That's not bad. I've gone through about 3 different softwares in my time. I've started at, well, pretty much a typical starting point with, what's it called, Movie Maker. That was fun. And then, I don't know, they changed it up and it didn't kind of work so well. But then I started getting into Vegas, and from there, now I use, I kind of betrayed Sony a little bit. I went to Adobe. It turns out to be a lot better, actually. I use what's called Adobe Premiere Elements. I do Adobe Elements, and it's like Pro, but it's more simplified. It doesn't have every feature of Pro. It has the ones to make a decent production and stuff, and it's real simple. So if you're used to Movie Maker or the simple editors, this will help you. It's not like jumping into a program where you're like, whoa, what am I doing? Because I've had that for sure with Sony Vegas. That took a bit of a learning curve, but yeah, I love the new program. And it's Adobe Elements goes for, I think it's in 2018 is its current version, and it goes for, I know, okay. It goes for about maybe 70 or 80. That wasn't bad at all. I love the price, and I love what it can put out. It can do motion tracking, chroma key, green screen, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah. And then it's even compatible with some of Pro's plugins. The only bad thing is the majority of the Pro plugins are about $100 each. But if you had your hands on them, 1 or 2 of them, they're most likely compatible with the elements. Other than that, yeah.
All right. So our next, well, we'll take questions at the end. We'll have a Q&A. Just to make sure we get through all this because we only got an hour. So next can be streaming software. Pretty much what almost everybody uses now is the new Streamlabs OBS. I mean, I know I use that.
Slobs.
Huh?
Slobs.
Slobs. Yes, that's an acronym. Slobs.
Quite the clever name.
Yeah. It's really, really great because before you used to have to go through OBS, which was free. And the great thing about Streamlabs OBS is it's also free. But the Streamlabs OBS actually will put in, the animations whenever somebody, makes a subscription or donates and stuff like that. Because, Super Chat, you have to get, I think, 1,000 subscribers before you can enable that. While Streamlabs is no requirement. You can start out getting donations if you want to have that option for your subscribers. Because at first I wasn't gonna offer having donations because my channel is so small until my subscribers were requesting to open up donations. So then I decided to transition into Streamlabs, and it's really, really easy to learn. I found it's very, very simplified, and there's hundreds of templates you can use. So if you don't have, you look at streams and you see all those, fancy cutouts where they have their gaming and their live feed of themselves and all things like that, the chat boxes. Streamlabs OBS will take care of that all for you. And that's, I would say, it's probably why, stuff like Madeira, Kiwi, all of them pretty much use Streamlabs OBS.
Used to before Streamlabs OBS, you had regular OBS, and you had to. It was really complicated. You had to copy and paste a bunch of code into OBS in order to get the animations to work. But Streamlabs OBS was just seamless. They both OBS and Streamlabs both partnered up to create this software where it makes streaming a snap. To me, streaming used to be a hassle without Streamlabs OBS, and now with it, it's great. It makes streaming a snap.
And the cool thing if you're already familiar with open broadcasting software and you want to transition over to Slobs, I don't know if you covered that or not. It actually is very simple. Slobs will actually, when you first install it, will ask you if it detects it. It'll detect the old OBS and ask you if you want to transition your settings over. So I've even heard some, and even I had the issue at first where I was like, I don't know if I want to transition because I set all this up just right and I don't want to have to do it over again. And then they're like, nah, you don't have to do any of that. You just install it and it automatically copies over all your settings, your scenes, everything. The only thing it doesn't copy over, and I'll put this out there, is your hotkeys. So if you have specialized keys on your keyboard to start the stream, change, transition stuff, it won't transfer those. But everything else, I haven't had to mess with. It's all been really streamlined. I love it. Good.
Here, we can move on to the next topic really quick. We're already at like 20 minutes left.
Yeah.
Right.
Thumbnails, okay. So thumbnails are very important. So in order to get custom thumbnails for your channel, you have to verify your channel to like you have to send them your text, your phone number, and you get a verification code set into your account. And once you get that done, you could use free software. There's GIMP, there's Paint.net. You're gonna have to use Photoshop to create your thumbnails. But the important thing is make them simple, make them clean. You know, today is all about minimalism, and that's what YouTube's algorithm is looking for nowadays. So try to stay away from a whole bunch of text on your thumbnails because the simpler the thumbnail, the better it works with the algorithm.
And one thing I will say about thumbnails is that they are important to an extent because, you know, when people are just swiping through their recommended feeds, if your video tends to pop up, you kind of want to have that first good impression because a lot of people will judge your video before they even see it just based off the thumbnail or the title. And it's also saying don't do clickbait that's dishonest. So, because people are going to click on it and then they're going to get mad at you if you don't, it's not what you said it was. But it doesn't mean you can make it interesting because if it's like, I know what you made the video of us at TFF where you said, I almost got murdered at TFF. Yeah. And the thing is, that was true. So, I mean, it was a pretty catchy title, but at least it was honest.
Oh, it was scary.
Scary.
I suck at thumbnails. Just want to say that right now. But typically, I mean, thumbnails can be very simple. Just have a picture of your fursuit or someone's fursuit. Just add large text, and there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube that can help you set up a thumbnail. Worst case scenario, because trust me, I'm really bad at thumbnails, but sometimes I can ask people for help, and literally I sometimes commission people to make thumbnails for me, and that's totally fine. Because there's some people out there who make really great thumbnails, and it's quite amazing just how many views you can get with a simple thumbnail on highway. So, yeah.
Well, and the main thing about it is that your thumbnail, your title, and your description, as long as they're all within the lines of the message you're trying to convey in your video, whether it's random or if the topic of this and that, just make sure they all line up and when a person looks at it, they can see the thumbnail and get an idea of what you're talking about. Then they see the name, and then the description, and then it goes from there. So that's a big thing.
Timus,
I can't stop moving the dang microphone.
Timus, you want to take this one?
Okay. Collaborations. Oh. Hello. Okay. Collaborations.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. No, he's in sprint now.
I'm right.
Collaborations are definitely helpful in promoting your channel, but it can also be something to really get two different channels and fans to really cross into each other, and it can actually help the community grow. To me, collaborations are very important because you really have to make sure that the person you're collaborating with is someone that really fits your type of content. So you're not like you're not out of line with what you're doing So you're not gonna like your gaming channel. You're not gonna collab with like a beauty channel unless maybe it's cosplay. Then that's a different story. That could definitely work. But if it's something completely unrelated to that, definitely it will not work. And honestly, it helps. It definitely helps. Collaborations can get the word out of your channel, and it honestly, collabs are fun. I mean, at the end of the day, they're fun, and it's just two content creators coming together, sharing their channels with each other to all of their audiences. So yeah.
I'll add. Yeah. Also, when looking to collab with somebody, if you're like brand new to the scheme, you know, I wouldn't, you know, go out of my way and probably ask, you know, like bring up a Jiro out of nowhere and say, let's collab or something like that when he doesn't know who I am. But like, usually when you know, start out, not a lot of people are gonna know you. But as your base grows, you might get offers, or you'll make friends that happen to be other YouTubers, and that's kind of like who I started out with. Like, that's kind of how I met Renni in a way, and then we ended up collabing at a TFF whenever we first met in person, and that was just kind of through you just happening to run into each other, and then just the more people you run into, the more your social net's going to expand within the realm of YouTube, and that's how you know, move up the ladder and meet other people. Because then I met Timus through a YouTube chat, and I really got to know him really well. So you just gotta be patient. You can't just, you know, jump to somebody who's like,
don't beg for collabs.
yeah, don't beg for
not
collabs, because that's how you'll turn away one from like life from somebody, is when you develop a bad impression like that.
Just collab with your friends. You know, Telegram is invaluable when it comes to collaborations, because you know, the fandom is, a lot of it's online, and you can't just fly across country every time you want to make a collab. So like, you can with Telegram, you can send in your video with your friends you're collabing with, and they can put your clip in their video, so you don't have to be there first to go collab.
Sorry,
You're really like moving that microphone.
I know, I don't know. Big muzzle, what? No, but I was just gonna say, I don't know, Renni, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. You know, collaborations are fun, especially among friends. But if you do want to collab with somebody like, I don't know, Timus or Salohcin or anybody, you know, I don't want to put a title to it. I'd just be like, you know, that you may not know fully well. Make sure when you approach them about it, you have a complete idea as to what you want. I mean, you'd be more likely to grab a collab with somebody when they know what they're going to be doing. Like, what is this? If you just approach them like, I want to collab, they're like, okay, well, what do you want to do? I mean, it's kind of like those question marks, isn't it? So get your idea together fully and what you need them to do, and then send it to them ahead of time so they can read it, see if that's something they want to do, and then you go from there.
Alright, our next topic is staying active on your channel. So your subscribers, when they subscribe, they usually do it because they know they're going to be getting content from you. If you make like one video and then disappear for 3 months, they might think your channel's dead. So they're going to probably either unsubscribe if they did, or probably not subscribe because they're not expecting any more content from you. So, you know, just having, you know, somewhat of a consistency. I mean, me personally, I had a lot of things come up with my channel, so I haven't like posted since Anthropon, but I've been doing a few streams here and there just to show that I'm like still around. But if things do come up in your life, don't be afraid to, you know, tell your subscribers, hey, I'm going on probably a hiatus for a while. But like, don't just like up and like stop uploading and then like not tell any of your base like where you just went. It's always best to keep your base informed and also just have a little bit of consistency when uploading your videos or streams.
Just words out of my mouth.
Yes, definitely. When you're gonna get people who are going to say, "Hey, why is your channel dead?" Or like, "Can you upload a video already?" Or like, "Can you upload it next week?" There's always people who are going to be impatient, but you have to realize that like everyone has work or they have school, and there's going to be times where like you're going to be so busy with life that you can't really focus on your channel. like what Salohcin said, streaming every once in a while, maybe on a weekend for just an hour, can really help let everyone know that you're still around. Because look at Frankie X. Like, he doesn't post videos that often, and yet he streams like every weekend, and people are like always there. They're always looking. Like, I'm pretty sure that in his videos now are just live streams, and they're just wonderful. Like, it's a wonderful part of his channel, and it could really help. Ready?
Oh.
Keep going.
Or Sky.
Scarlett, want to take this one?
Either one. Wait.
Interacting with your audience.
Oh, you changed it on me. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Interact with your audience. It's not always the easiest thing. You know, I suppose it's easier when you're a smaller channel. When you get really big like Majira and you get like hundreds of comments or whatever per video, it gets a little hard to respond. You can still do it, but you're going to be working on it a little bit. What? Oh,
No, I know this, and I'm still like.
I mean, I try my best to try and respond to each person that comments, and sometimes I might miss one or two, but you know, you just do your best. I think it's the easiest way to interact with people when you're live streaming. That's always going to be the easiest because it's obviously it's live.
That's putting it very lightly.
But
It's like 300 people watching your live stream.
well, okay, there's a difficulty in that too, but at least you can just be like, you know, you can at least explain yourself in a video like, okay, I'm not currently looking at the screen, but I'll check your comments in a sec. I've got to beat this boss or something. Oh, if you're games, whatever it might be, you know. But yeah, interactivity is great. Definitely does add a little more to the experience. I'm sorry, my nose just it gets nosy. Anyway, that was a horrible pun, but I did it anyway. Here you go. I'm gonna stop.
Oh wait, did I go? Or I don't know.
Yeah, he changed the subject on me, so you haven't talked about it yet.
Okay. Real quick. So yeah, be very careful with how you interact with your audience, because especially if you're a safe for work channel. If you're a safe for work channel, be careful what you say. I mean, you have kids watching your live stream, so don't say the F word, or don't say bad words, or don't talk about things that are 18 plus. Just leave that out of the stream. Unless it's an 18 plus stream and it's private, whatever. Yeah, but be very careful what you say to your audience, because believe it or not, maybe you could be nice to that person, but they could take it offense, and it's really tough to like sort of explain yourself, especially when you got like 100 people watching the live stream, and you're just trying to like, I saw your comment, I can't really go back to it because I don't know, either a moderator blocked it or whatever. But sometimes people will beg for attention. They'll be like, hey, if you don't pin my comment, I will dox you, or I will do this or that. And they will literally say this on live streams. And obviously these are people wanting attention.
And don't feel intimidated by it.
Just act professional. Try not to like blow out on them and be like, hey, you know, why are you doing this? No, try and like be calm about it, because really, when interacting with your audience, you need to really keep professional.
That's really true.
Exactly.
And there's other routes to interacting with your audience, not just YouTube, you know, you can interact with your audience on social media, like Twitter, or even Hurry Amino. You know, Hurry Amino is a great way of getting your videos out there, actually.
You represent the fandom. So when we say this, it means that, you know, if you go out and do something that's clearly in the wrong, like on your channel, it's putting an image on everybody in this fandom. Because, you know, there's going to be people that aren't part of the fandom and might be, you know, prospective to it. And if the first thing they see is like you misrepresenting the fandom and doing something that clearly that doesn't align with, you know, what we stand for, that's the only thing they're going to see, because that's the first thing they saw of the fandom. It's going to immediately turn them off, or it could attract a lot of negative attention to others in the fandom. Especially if you have like a large following and you get a lot of views on your channel. So just keep that in mind whenever you're making content. Just keep in mind that, you know, others are going to see it, and you're displaying an image for the rest of everybody else that's, you know, part of this amazing fandom.
Okay, so things will happen. Okay, things will happen, and this is going back to collabs. you might collab with somebody and something might happen. That PR might be damaged because of something, a scandal, whatever it might be. And you really have to make a decision whether or not to unlist that video or not be a part of it, because it can really like have a lot of negative effect on your channel, and you have to be very careful with your image, honestly. I mean, there's drama all the time on Twitter, and I mean, sometimes we all chime in on the drama, even lightly. I mean, but one has to be very careful about how they represent themselves on Twitter and on YouTube. You have to be very, very careful, because on the internet it's forever. So I mean, look at PewDiePie. There was this one time he really messed up by saying a really bad word on, I think it was, if I remember, on a live stream, and everybody was on him, and they're still on him to this day about it. It, like, trust me, it will stay with you for a really long time. So you have to be very careful with how you present yourself in the fandom, especially when making videos and live streaming. You have to be like really responsible with it. But yeah. I have to like wait now because like, yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, dealing with the haters. So I've actually had, you know, people come to my like live stream and then, you know, start saying, you know, the usual, you know, anti-furry stuff, stuff I'm not going to repeat. But usually when these kind of things happen, I find it best to just ignore them until it becomes, you know, absolutely necessary to remove them or block them or anything like that. Because if you get like one hate comment in there and, you know, you don't want them in there, I would just, you know, either just not acknowledge it or just give it like a light warning. Because if you end up like blocking them after like one comment or something like that, they're gonna feel like they accomplished something. Like getting blocked is probably one of their goals, and then they can like talk about it later, saying things like, you know, I triggered this guy so hard that he blocked me or whatever. So usually, I mean, there was one hater that came in and I just said, "Cool, bro," and that's all I acknowledged him for, and he left within like a minute. Like, you know, they're in there to get a rise out of you. That's their main goal when, you know, trolls do show up.
Pretty much like any bully in life, really.
Yeah, and they're just there to get attention, and if you don't give them that attention, they're most likely to go away. But also, you know, having, you know, moderators in your channel is another good thing. Friends you trust personally, like my good friend Worms right here, she's one of my moderators on my channel. And it's people that I trust personally and know in real life, that I know they'll handle the situations if they do arise. You know, something to where that person moves on from you and starts attacking other people in your chats or comments, then that's when I would like, you know, say, okay, that's enough, you're gone. Because at that point they're ruining other people's experiences when they're around your channel.
And the way to deal with it is to turn hatred into positivity. You know, if someone calls you weird, say, "You bet I'm weird. I'm happy I'm weird."
You gotta own it.
You said, "Oh, I asked that if you wanted to."
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, totally. Again, deal it in a professional manner. Like, yeah, there's gonna be people in your chat who are gonna say like, "Oh, look at the furry. You know, he's very disgusting." Whatever the comments might be on the live stream or on your comments, try not to respond. Like they said, try not to respond in an unprofessional manner. Don't just go on a bit like a 5-paragraph comment. Just say, yeah. Honestly, they're not worth it. They're not worth your time. All they want, like Sal and Renni said, they're just there to get a rise out of you. They just want a reaction from you, and they don't care about anything else. You might be right, and they don't care. They just want to bully you. Honestly, that's all they're there.
Monetization. That's and donations.
Okay, so me personally, I'm not monetized on YouTube, but I know the struggle of monetization. Now, it helps to an extent with your channel, because there's people when you're live streaming, they donate, it's super chat, and it helps. Unfortunately, on YouTube, through super chat, they take a large cut of the donations.
30%.
30%. That's a lot. So if you donate $1, you're only getting like
70 cents.
77%.
Yeah.
77 cents. And so if someone donates $100 is not exactly $100. And that's the same case with Streamlabs, especially on PayPal. But this is why I prefer to use Streamlabs, because people can share media on Streamlabs, and to me it feels a lot more fun, because if someone wants to send like a silly meme that everybody likes and they laugh, trust me, I go on Kiwi Fox's streams and I like donate through his Streamlabs. I completely ignore Super Chat and I just share media, and it could be like the most recent meme, like it's crazy and it's fun. And if you have that option available, like it's great to have, because people like to support the content creators. And honestly, I wouldn't say don't beg for donations. Definitely don't come off as you're begging for donations. But definitely, I mean, at first it can be like someone donates $1. Maybe sometimes someone will donate like $50, $100. People are really generous sometimes, and honestly, I can't thank them enough for their support. And yeah, it really helps a lot. But honestly, like I said, don't beg for it when you're live streaming. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, start doing donations until I was actually requested by my fans. They're like, we want to give you a donation because we like your content so much. So that's why I opened up in the first place. I wasn't even planning to, do donations until maybe like 5,000 subscribers way down the road. I'm barely a fifth of the way there to that goal, but it was something my subscribers, asked for, so I gave it to them. And also, when they do donate, please show your appreciation by, if they donate like a large sum of money. Like I had basically one person fund about 80 to 90% of my entire trip to Anthropon this summer, and I made sure to thank them properly by making them like a custom video, and they also became like an admin on my channel because I knew they were a very nice person, very trustworthy, and I gave him a lot of attention, and it was rightfully deserved, because he helped me out so much and gave me an extremely generous gift. So whenever you do have things like that, just make sure to show your appreciation and really interact with those individuals.
As your channel grows, you might consider opening up a Patreon, which skips over the whole YouTube monetization stuff. You can get the full amount, and your audience is willing to support you. You're getting money from your viewers, and they're willing to support you.
Alright. Copyright. Heroes, gonna take this one? We have about 10 minutes, so we're going to try to wrap this up about 5. We have some time for Q&A.
Okay, so copyright. Well, I suppose if you're going for monetization, stuff like that, which this is perfect that it comes after that, you got to be careful what kind of music you use, because personally, if you want to use music in your video, I would suggest looking up a couple of royalty-free libraries, ones that, and specifically ones that, that don't say just royalty-free and then charge you $100 for a song, but like genuine royalty-free, like NCS. A lot of YouTubers use NCS, no copyright sounds, and you'll find them on YouTube. You find them on SoundCloud. You can get their music. All you have to do is credit the song, the name of the song, the artist, and they kind of give you what you need to put in your description. Once you put that there, you're solid, you're good. Some of my con videos use NCS, and they've been totally fine. And even if you do use a known song, there is a way to figure out, and it's not entirely foolproof, they're building the database for it, but YouTube actually has a copyright library where you can go type in the name of the song you want to use, and it will tell you what will happen if you use it. Such as, any song really. Type in the name, it'll tell you if they will remove it or if they will monetize it. and if the other person monetizes it, you will lose monetization on the video for that, and it'll all go to them instead. But, I mean, at least your video won't go anywhere. Because, I mean, it could be worse than that. They could mute your audio, or they could give you a copyright strike, which ruins streaming and other things. So, it's kind of a slippery slope. You really want to use a song and you're set on it. That's going to follow me forever now. I think then, yeah, you can check this library and it'll tell you if it's okay to use. So, I definitely suggest that. Otherwise, use no copyright sounds and it's completely hassle-free.
Alright, social media. So, social media, I'm going to go through this really quick since we're running a little bit low on time, but social media is a great way to, provide content in those dry times, or at least keep your audience updated on what you're doing, what your plans are for the channel. I mean, I basically use it an incredible amount of time through Twitter, just posting updates saying like, hey, I'm going to be trying getting a video out, within a week or two, because I've learned the hard way from giving deadlines. I almost never fulfill with deadlines, and Worms knows this. But it's just, when your content is a little dry, or if you actually want to provide a little extra content, maybe like a first week photo, or like, just a photo of like what you did or whatever, it kind of makes the audience connect with you more on a personal level, and they know a little bit more about you, and it just helps really develop a really interesting connection between you and your subscribers, and they kind of get to know like your personal life. I'm not saying that put everything on social media, but it's just it's kind of a neat thing to do just to keep your audience engaged, and also it's another platform, to kind of advertise your channel and let people know what you're up to on your channel, to show that you haven't disappeared if you go on hiatus or anything like that. And last but not least, be patient. And all of us, we didn't get to where we are now, and I'm still being patient, stuff like that. If your goal is to get a lot of subscribers, become a full-time YouTuber and make it your living, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years of dedication, most likely, for you to get that far. Majira didn't get to 100,000 subscribers overnight in a year, right? It took them a long time to get there. Same thing with any other YouTuber who has become very successful and is now doing a full-time career out of it, if that's your goal. Also, don't compromise, your character and yourself just to get views. You should only be doing this if you're enjoying it, having fun. There's times like, when I develop a tight schedule and I get, I feel like it turns into a job once you like have a strict deadline and stuff like that, and it becomes a chore and not fun. Don't do that to yourself. Do it is comfortable for you, and things will happen naturally. Yeah, but anything to add to that, Renni?
Just got a quick.
Anything out of that, Timus? Girls, really quick.
Be patient.
Yes.
Yeah, so really quick, I had 5 YouTube channels before I had this current one. All of them below 100 subscribers, and my recent one before this one had like 5,000 views per video, but they were like really just bad videos. And like Sal said, just be patient. It's not gonna happen overnight. I mean, and even if it doesn't, eventually like people, like you're gonna build your fan base. Like people are gonna like look at your channel, and there's longevity to it. So that's what's most important. It's the longevity of your channel. People come back to watch your videos years from now. So, yeah.
Alright, we're gonna move on to questions. I'm sorry, Skyarrow, but we have about 8 minutes left. So yeah, we're opening up the questions right now. Yes.
What about content theft? If someone steals your video, what do you do?
That's a big issue, yeah.
Skyarrow, why don't you take that one?
People impersonate me a lot on Twitter and on YouTube. If somebody legit puts your video in a cringe compilation, I mean, there's not really much you can do. You can report the video. You can confront the person and tell them to take it down. But honestly, it's very hard to do it. I would say to, at first, see if your video has your own copyright. Because remember, you might be using music that belongs to a corporation or something, and your video has that label on it. So YouTube might not give you the rights to the video. So you have to be very careful with that.
If
they just straight up stole it from me, then you just file a copyright claim and prove to YouTube that you uploaded the video first. That makes sense because that happened to, I believe, Leon Fox. That happened to Leon, and he filed a claim, and that video was taken down. As for like a screen compilation, if someone wants to use your, just put the video on one of those, you really can't do anything in that situation because they're just compiling it to a video or type of creative.
Yeah, the one thing that like will, it differs from, somebody doing it under like fair use, because that's the thing where, you can take somebody else's content, do, as long as they do something that's like unique, a spin on it, for like talking about it, they can and are allowed to do that under fair use rights. But like if they were to like, take something from you and claim it as their own, like if you were to make, custom music and then claim that they did it, then you're more likely to win a battle like that, and that's something you should report, because that's, false claims on owning certain content.
I do have one additional question to this. So, at what point do you think it should be actual you should actually get into laws, actual dealing with it in court? Is there a certain point where you just have to do that?
I would only go that far if they started to slander me.
They make money off it.
Yeah.
If they make money off it, and you were making money off
Yeah.
it originally, that's a big issue.
That too. If they're making false claims about you and ruining your image, that's slander. That's against the law. If they're making false accusations about you and spreading lies, as well as
Well, I mean, not even ruining your reputation. If they're trying to steal your reputation,
Yeah, that
literally
too.
steal your image, so people will go to them.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
What about the ever-changing algorithm of YouTube?
Speak a little bit louder.
The ever-changing algorithm of YouTube thumbnails?
Yeah, and how to adjust to the changes in the algorithm.
The unfortunate thing is YouTube does not want you to know your algorithm, because they change it all the time. It's just you have to work and find out what works the best. Well, I think it's my advice from Odin. Like Odin, he's been Odin Wolf. He said the algorithm on thumbnails is a lot more minimalistic now, and that's essentially the truth. If you see a lot of in the videos, minimalistic. So you just have to think. You just have to think about what they want you to have on because they don't want you to know what
We got about 4 minutes left. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So, where did y'all get your suits? And the other question is, where would you suggest new folks that are trying to get suits to go to?
Suits, my entire suit was made from 3 different makers, actually. I commissioned 3 different people to make each part of it. There's no one particular, suit maker to find. It's really balancing between, your budget and the style you like, and also make sure to, if you're in the market for a suit, I would say, look at what past customers have had or what their experiences have been with that maker. Because, there's some times where you see this glorious website with a bunch of great suits, and then you find out later that the maker isn't who they say they are, and they've had bad customer service. So I would always, make sure to talk to people who have commissioned them, and also just find what you think is best between the budget you have and the style of maker that you like. What I have to say for suits. But then again, you don't need a suit to be a YouTuber. There's many others who do really creative outlets, Beta Edit, Delota, and Topics, who do character stills. They commission art pieces of their characters, different expressions or poses, and they kind of compile that just by placing the images in on an audio recording. And that's one way to express your persona in a way for your videos if you don't have a suit.
Now, I'm gonna say this now, it might not seem this way, but there are a lot of smaller YouTube channels that are furries, and these people don't have suits at all. You'd be surprised. Of course, they only have 300 subscribers or 100, but they're still there. You just have to dig deep into that huge list of for YouTubers, and you'll be surprised with what content you'll find. Like these, like what Sal was saying, there could be someone that like has character skills and the persona might be awesome. They just haven't been exposed to that much yet, and you know.
And then there's people that don't even have character skills that are just, you know, their face like a Scary Husky who's pretty successful. He doesn't have any character skills or a suit, and his streams are always fun to go and stop by. He does gaming and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I would say the most important thing about, you know, that you can add to your channel is just having a great personality and something that people can really relate to. It's like the key thing that, you know, draws people into your channel.
Are there any more questions? Thank you guys for
Wait, I got one more.
One more?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. So, tell what your audience does and doesn't like if you're starting out.
Okay. That's kind of a trial and error, actually. You throw something out there and see how it works. So, it's a learning experience. A failed video is a learning experience. A successful video is just as much a learning experience. So, if it doesn't do well, you can be like, okay, so that didn't work out so well. I kind of tweak it a little if you want to keep with that idea, and then try again. Or you look to another direction and say, okay, maybe this will work. And then eventually it'll become more clear to you. Like, based off of, oh, more people watch this kind of video than this kind of video. And then you can kind of tailor your stuff in that direction. And then if your numbers keep going up, you know you're good. If everybody hits a bad note. I have one of my first videos hardly gets any views, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's never do that again. So everyone's gonna have their bad video or their bad moments, but you just learn from them, and then you experiment, and eventually it should all work out. You just learn from it, adapt.
Like, I'm gonna say this now. Probably the like-dislike ratio and comments play a big part in what your audience likes and dislikes. Typically my con videos have the most views, and they bring in the most comments and the most likes. So there alone I can tell that like my con videos are pretty much what makes my channel, because I ask people and they say, oh, I really like the con videos. They're really great. And I always look forward to con videos. So I mean that's sort of like the main focus of my channel. But again, you can branch off to different content, and it just works out. If there's a point where you see like there's more dislikes than likes, and people say that, oh, I hate this video, then that should like be like a sign that like you're not doing it right.
Make sure they're not trolls first.
Yeah. No, but like I mean somebody who gives like valid points on your video. Oh, there's no lighting, or your mic isn't very good, or like I can't hear you, or the video is very choppy, like it's not edited right.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, constructive criticism. Like, it's pretty easy to tell who's a troll and who's not when they're giving points on your video.
Yeah, because I mean, they may not like something, but they're also going to help you with that. Like, oh, why don't you try this instead?
Exactly.
All right. So we're unfortunately out of time, but I just want to say thank you all so much for coming to our very first So You Want to YouTube channel. Appreciate it. And I know a lot of you already probably want to get to the first photo parade. Y'all got about 13 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
And for those of you tuning in from online YouTube or Periscope, it's great to have you.
Thank you, everybody. It was very fun and very nice.
You're all amazing.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry.
Give me a bird, 6.
Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it came through very well. And I've been Arrow. I'll see you around, guys.
I already
Stay
stopped.
awesome, stay adventurous.
I already stopped it. I'm sorry.
It didn't actually.
What?
It didn't stop it.
Oh.
I don't know
Oh, good.
But like,
Okay. Well, I did click it.
I don't know why.
And then you gotta hit this.